have no idea what I'm gonna talk about. Hello everybody, OPK here with another video about my very great, good, awesome, amazing story. You see my eyes? Do you see my eyes? Yeah. It's like this lighting is like it's like killing me. Okay. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about character development and to get this issue across. As a writer, a new writer, I am having a bit of an issue when it comes to developing a character because I don't want to overly develop a character or underdevelop a character or develop a character a little too fast. And so I kind of just want to talk about how my character development has been going so far, and in hopes of people who have read my story to give me feedback on how I should proceed with developing this character so I can take those thoughts into consideration and, make a better character. So the character that I'm going to be talking about is going to be Kaiser, the main character of the story of Omnipotent King, trademark. And Kaiser as a person currently, his personality is more so on the laid back side, I want to say when I write Kaiser, I give him a more laid back persona, right? Every situation that he generally comes into is more with a laid back persona. He isn't all in when it comes to situations. Half of the time he isn't all the way, he isn't even halfway there. He's generally just kind of floating about in spaces, and when it calls for attention, that's when he gives his attention. But generally, he's a more floating, carefree type of person. Now, Kaiser, even though he's a carefree person, he isn't, how do I put this? Kaiser being carefree doesn't necessarily mean that he's inactive. Kaiser is very active, and in times he can show very real emotion. Like when Michael was afraid of like getting his class revealed and his class being bad, and Kaiser like ups and slaps him, and Michael notices that he's shivering because he's also afraid. Kaiser is a real person. Kaiser has real personality. He's, even though I portray him as a laid back person, that is only portrayal of him being laid back is the portrayal of how people view him. While Kaiser's real and active emotions are how Kaiser views himself, because Kaiser does not view himself as a laid back person. That's how everyone else views him. Kaiser views himself as a person with mixed emotions, because that's currently what's happening. Kaiser as a character is a mixed emotion person. He isn't a one steady type of person. He has different, like at different times he has different emotions, which is like every other person, but he has different flurries very often. One minute he's cool and relaxed, like when he went over to Michael's house to go and chill, and the next minute he's confused about what Alice is doing. The next minute he's confused, or he's flattered. He's like flattered by the looks that Hella give him, or even the next minute he's enraged. Kaiser is very immature with his emotions, basically. That's kind of where Kaiser currently is right now. He's immature about how he handles his emotions. Everyone views him as a very mature person, a very laid back, cool cucumber under the sun type of person. But really, Kaiser's very immature with his emotions. At least that's how I view Kaiser. I view him as an emotionally immature person. And I say emotionally immature because he has a hard time controlling, he has a hard time sticking to his emotions, if that makes sense, right? Think about it like this. When a character is created, when a character is crafted, a character has a set, there's the basic, the character feels these emotions, sadness, joy, anger, you know, all those emotions. But then the character in question is like, he is more so stuck to a certain like emotion. He's like often stuck to a certain emotion. Maybe this character is generally pessimistic. Maybe this character is generally over joyful. Maybe this character is generally a fearful character. Fearful character. Characters have a certain trademark that they're stuck to. The problem with Kaiser is that Kaiser isn't generally stuck to any of these emotions. Not deep down. On the outside, he looks like it looks like he's calm all the time, that he's generally happy. But Kaiser isn't actually stuck to these emotions on the inside. It's the inside where everything happens. Kaiser is constantly like, sorry, my like country is like trying to rip out of my throat right now, and I'm trying to be very professional. Um, and as I was saying, his emotions continuously, like they continuously flux between, he continuously flux between different emotions, and he's not set on anything because Kaiser isn't at that point. He hasn't had that like development yet. He's developed to the point where he can fake a show, but he can't tell you. He can fake a good car, but he can't tell you why the car is good. He can't tell you how the motor runs, right? If that analogy makes sense. And so once we get to the next arc of my story, I want that to completely change for Kaiser, but I don't want Kaiser to be a happy go lucky person. In fact, I kind of want the opposite. I kind of want my character Kaiser to be more of a dreadful person, more of a like pessimistic person, more of like a questioning person, like untrusting person, you know, like that type of person. But I don't want his character on the outside to change all that much. I don't want his character to change all that much on the outside, because I believe that a character is a character. A character should stick to a character. But in order for me to have a character stick to a character and develop that character, I'm basically cutting off Kaiser as two individuals, right? Kaiser on the outside is how the world perceives him in his world, while Kaiser on the inside is how he perceives himself and how we perceive Kaiser. And so I kind of want Kaiser to go on this like pessimistic trip of dread and sorrow for a while without revealing it. Or no, I won't say without revealing it, but more so without showing it consistently. There are going to be times where he does show these emotions, because pessimism is ultimately stronger than optimism. There's more to be sad about than there is to be happy about. And so those strong emotions will like glimpse through his persona of who he is on the outside, but ultimately only a few people are going to pick up on it, because ultimately there's only a select few people who can crack his shell. And then we move on to the next arc, and the next arc would be Kaiser's more of coming into this calm era, right? He's more so, Kaiser in the third arc would be more so of he's not a pessimistic person anymore, but he isn't completely trusting either. Kaiser is he's very calm and lucrative about the things that he does, but he doesn't completely it's not like he can completely forget the person who he was prior to that. It isn't like he can completely forget all the negative emotion that he had, and so he holds on to that while trying to be better. And that's who the third arc Kaiser is. It is a person trying to be better than what their past is. And this Kaiser will be a little more open about who he is on the outside choosing to show people that he's not this cool, calm, collected, happy person all the time. And he will be haunted by who he was in the past. And like this Kaiser will be the most haunted by who he was in the past. And I say that because this is the Kaiser who's currently coming into the realization of what has happened. I won't say anything. I won't reveal what happened. But Kaiser in the third arc will have to overcome what happened in the past in order to become who he is in the fourth arc, which is a more so complete Kaiser. It is a Kaiser who is truthful about his outwardly appearance and his inwardly appearance. Who Kaiser is on the outside is who Kaiser will be on the inside. But he won't be this cool, calm, collected cucumber. That isn't who Kaiser will be. Who Kaiser will be, he will be. I view Kaiser as being someone better than that, basically. I view Kaiser being someone better than that, being someone above this cool and collected cucumber, someone who's actually expressing in his emotions, and someone who's actually there the way that people view him to be, someone who doesn't have to lie to the world about who he is and can honestly be who he wants to be, someone who he can really be, who he really is on the inside, can shine to the world. And that's basically how I want that to go for my character. Obviously, I'm up for any type of inputs. If you choose to give me any type of input, I will definitely read it. I'll definitely think about it. You might even see it if I view it as really good. But yeah, that's everything for now. Tune in next time. That's OPK.